Roll call. Debbie, can you do a roll call, please?
Kim Meltzer. Dr. Mike Aiello.
Here.
Paul Gilliam.
Here.
Julie Matuzak.
Here.
Mary Hine.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. There's only really two things on the agenda, the minutes from the last meeting and a suggestion about amending the township's purchasing ordinance.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Approval of the minutes. April 16th. I was not here.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any adjourned? No. Any opposed? All right. Our main agenda item, amendment to the township's purchasing and bid policies procedure. Tell us what you'd like to do.
DPS originally initiated this. I've spoke with other departments. The current bid policy or purchasing policy requires anything over anticipated cost over $20,000 to be put on BidNet, our preferred policy or bidding platform, as it states. We're asking to change that to $50,000, up $20,000 to $50,000, and in another category to allow us just to receive 3 written quotations. The reason we're asking for this is with inflation and everything, we're keep triggering and hitting that amount. And we've found that some of these smaller projects, specifically repairs and stuff, the local vendors aren't on BidNet. So we're getting higher costs and delays and having to write specifications, put it out onto BidNet, and then not getting the best of results. So as a compromise, what we're asking for is from $20,000 to $50,000 for budgeted projects, allowing us to receive 3 written quotations and then proceeding with it with board approval. So, which we have been kind of doing in practice a little bit. We've asked for a waiver of the budget or the purchasing policy and a procedure to proceed with quotes when we've done this in the past. One good example I have for this is we just did the roofs on the historic villages. I put it out on BidNet because that was what the policy was, but in my knowing the experience, we're getting a lot of out-of-town people doing it, and the prices are higher because they're usually subbing it out. So I prepared a 1-page request for quotes and sent it out to some local people. Well, they were the 3 low bidders by far. You know, they were the ones we received off of BidNet were more than double. And then another advantage. On that. Well, if we call local heating and cooling companies, somebody might come in and say have a different repair or a different method. You know, it will help save costs as well as keep local suppliers looped in. I reached out, I looked at BidNet for recent departments that have been putting stuff on BidNet, and every single one of them expressed their support of it. Chief Cicella said it the best. He said something to the effect of, you know, for customer service, if you use somebody local, you buy some, you call them, they're there. You put some on BidNet, you might get somebody out of Texas or something, but it happens to be the low bidder, and then customer service ain't the best. But this allows more local participation, or I think it'll add actually more bidders, you know, because we're really limited to who's on BidNet. These bigger projects it makes sense with. And one other thing is that we went for 50,000 is there. Linda can speak on it better than I can, I'm sure, but there's a bonding requirements that come into effect after 50 contracts exceeding $50,000. So at 50,000, we can put it on BidNet and better explain, hey, you have to be bonded in these ways for these projects. So what we're asking from you all is allowing us to present this to the board and recommend to the board that we add this next category. So their current category is $0 to $2,000. Go ahead and purchase something. 2 to 20, we get 3 written quotations and go ahead and buy it. 20 on up, it goes on to BidNet. We're asking from 20 to 50, allowing to get 3 written quotations, and ask the board to proceed with, you know, the low bidder, or however we determine after getting 3 written quotes. It wouldn't prevent anybody from who wanted to use the BidNet for anything over 20, it would just allow that we don't have to keep coming to the board and saying, hey, we want to waive the purchasing policy. We did it for these reasons, you know, with the, but that pretty much summarizes it, but hey,
So,
I just want to point out that the category we talked about, 2,000, 20,000, currently three quotations are secured by the department. Why the award can be made after the evaluation without approval from the board, only if there are available dollars in the budget to be documented and maintained for years in the department initiative. You're talking about adding another category where board approval or just expanding 2,000, 20,000?
add in another category. So you get three quotes and then we take it to the board and say, hey, we win, you know, it would be a separate category.
So basically, the difference is in this new category, instead of with the currently the 2,000 to 20,000, they could just make the purchase if there's a budget for it. Now, in this intermediate category, they'll still get the three quotes, but it comes to the board for approval rather than just proceeding. Regardless of, you know, even if there's budget, it comes to the board for approval.
yeah, I was wondering if we needed to change all of the thresholds, but it doesn't seem like we need to. So 0 to 2,000, make the purchase. 2 to 20,000, it's three quotes. 20 to 50,000 would be, get the three quotes. Doesn't preclude you from going to BidNet as well. And it would require board approval. Got it. And then 50,000 or above, BidNet. Makes sense to me.
I want to say I think it's a great idea because, as you mentioned, Brett, that we need to support our local business people there in the construction business, and I think this will give them greater opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of the feedback I got from the other departments, you know.
The other thing it does, I think, is that, for instance, when I wasn't here at the last board meeting, I had made the request to approve our voter guide. But when we set out to do that quote, we didn't know it was going to exceed that threshold, right? So then we had to bring it to the board for approval. So this way, that helps with that as well. And I just think it's another opportunity. I'm in full support of it, and I'll make a motion to approve as requested.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
But
Yes. Yeah, right, correct.
procedural question, if like after we take this to the board and they do approve it, do I, when I present a letter to the board, assuming you all, do I present that to the board or the Budget Ways and Means? And then do I need to draft language or who does the language for the policy? Okay, so I'm, okay, thank you.
I have one concern. I like this policy. I think we should keep this policy. I have a problem with this policy. When we stay. Thank you. I don't know who did that, but thanks. When we go out to get quotes, three quotes, the value behind BidNet is that we're not in any way selecting who gets to bid on it.
Correct.
If we're going out for three quotes, then we are deciding who we're going to contact to give us quotes.
Correct.
And that, to me, is potentially dangerous in that then our staff, our department heads are picking and choosing among building contractors, local ones.
Sure.
And that leads us open to some potential problems.
That's where I thought would be just relying on us as, you know, what we do, you know, and also going to the board and then the board to be able to ask like, well, why didn't you pick these people? And there's, you know, we could give the reason behind why we went this way. When you're going out to BidNet, yes, everybody that's on
Right.
BidNet can bid on it, but our
But the people
experience
that
aren't.
Right. No, I agree totally with that. I'm just a little cautious, and I don't know if it's even possible to develop a policy about where we would advertise locally that bids are, that, you know, we're looking to quote this project. I'm not sure how to do that.
So it's very specific. And so we do, when we go on BitNet, we do put it in Macomb Daily to say, go look, but the local people aren't looking at the Macomb
Right.
Daily. So it depends on what you're bidding. If you're doing a roof, there's some, there's a contract, so it really depends on where you're bidding. But like, we're about to bid out paper for our water and sewer bills. You'll go on, it's going to be more than the 50,000, so go on BidNet, but we'll reach out to some of the local places, type idea. But it's, at that point,
Right. No, I
so
get
there
that
is
part.
no one place that you could put it for local, is what I'm saying.
Right. No, I get that, but I do have some concerns that
Absolutely.
we are picking and choosing winners by asking the 3 specific people to submit an idea.
I don't think we are, because we are not asking one, we are asking more than one. So by asking for 3, then we receive those quotes. We don't know what those quotes are going to be. And generally, our rule of thumb is whatever's the cheapest, right? But there is more to it than that. So there's a value that you have to, so I think as long as you can explain that in your presentation at the time of your request, I don't think there's going to be an issue with favoritism, because you will have gone out and at least obtain 3 quotes. And you can get more than 3 too. So like for instance, the last quotes, I got 4, but I didn't get, the 4th one dropped off because they just didn't, reply. And then the 3rd one didn't qualify.
And if
So-
I can add, you're still writing a specification. So I'll use my paper. I'm saying I want 14-pound paper. So if someone bids and they're cheap, but they're only giving me 12-pound paper, I can throw them out. So you still have to write the specification so that everyone's bidding, so you're comparing apples to apples, and not apples to oranges.
Yeah, it is a concern I have. It is not, I still think this is a good idea, but I am aware that people get in trouble
Yep.
all the time
I think
by
where this-
choosing their favorite supplier for something. And we just need to be really aware of that.
For
I
sure.
think.
People that we've worked with in the past, if you know their
Right.
work quality and stuff, obviously you're going to want to use them, right? But I think that's a benefit, because when we're going out, especially
If
for
they're the
repairs.
cheapest price.
Correct.
Right.
Well, especially for these repairs that we oftentimes, we know they're going to go over 20, and we can put it, it's really hard. The makeup air unit is a good example. Hey, a makeup air unit is broken, repair this. Well, they're all going to have to come out here and look at it. It's really going to be hard to compare apples to apples, because one person might say, I can repair this. One person might say, so what oftentimes will happen is say, replace this makeup air unit with one of this specs. Well, somebody might have a better solution or be able to repair it. We can get a better price. So this allows us to have multiple eyes on it to say, well, I can do this, or, and evaluate it from that front. I mean, things that are, I'm purchasing this stapler, obviously staplers aren't $20,000, and this is exactly what I need. Maybe BidNet's the best platform for it, which still could be utilized for this, but if, some of these other ones that are, what I have been doing when I put something on BidNet is local people I know that aren't on BidNet is I'll email them, hey, look at this, pay attention to this, bid on this, so we haven't gotten great response on BidNet for these smaller type of projects, and so I think we're
Nobody wants to
overpaying
do
on
small
things.
projects.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of them there are people on BidNet that's what they do is they look for projects, they call a local person, hey, how much to do this job? Oh, it's 23,000, let's say, okay, I'll bid 35, and they'll just sub it out to them. And then the local guy's ultimately doing the work, we're overpaying for them just because they're on BidNet.
Right.
That's been my experience at least.
So how do the companies get the specifications? Are the specifications placed on the website? Are they, hey, we've called you, we've reached out, this is the scope of the work. Hey, we're going to send you the specs for the job. And then, they all have to then comply with
So
the
I would
specs.
say it depends.
Okay.
Because you're not, if I'm using the paper as an example. We reached out to, last time we did this, I think we reached out to 7 businesses that did paper plus put it on BidNet. 3 of the businesses said we're not interested. Clinton Township's too far. They were local, meaning Southeast Michigan, but it's too far. We're not interested. The other 4 said please send us the specs. I think only 3 bid on it. I mean, it just depends. And in that case, because we knew it was over the 50 grand, we also put it on BidNet. But quite frankly, no one from, beyond that reached out. So it really depends on what the project is. We've always tried to reach out, even on our bigger projects. If we know contractors, we'll say to them, it's out there, but it's up to them to actually put the bid together and ask for the specs. We don't just send out specs to say, they have to say, yes, we're interested, and then we.
So my thought is, if we could place the specs on the website, then it's available to everybody, and it really sort of deals with the concern that Trustee Matuzak is raising.
I think that'd be great.
So it's
Put a
not just the
special-
3 that we're reaching out to, but if it's on the website,
Anyone can find.
anybody can come and find it.
Yeah, I think that.
That's a great idea. Put a
That-
special tab
Yeah, I
that says
think
current
that-
bids.
And then when you all contact local suppliers or local maintenance folks,
They can go
you
to the current
say,
bids.
it's on the web.
Yeah, some of these are, like, the repairs are the ones that are tricky for this. 'Cause
Right.
You get it's really hard to compare apples to apples when somebody have
Right.
different ideas of doing things, and then you evaluate it. Some people might, like I said, the heat makeup area is a good example. They might, I can repair that and then it'll be good to go. Or other people think, it should be replaced, and then that's hard to.
So
to
a lot
put
of
on.
times, like on the makeup air unit, we have, a contract, they're not fire and ice anymore, but they would come in because it's also kind of an emergency, right? We can't be without heat or whatever. So if they can give us a decent price and it seems reasonable, but sometimes what we're seeing sometimes is they know it's an emergency, so it's not a decent price. And then we can go, thanks for, and then we call 2 more people.
Right.
Because we know there's other HVAC people. That keeps them on their toes. But in that case, I don't know if that would go out on our website, because it's more of a, we got to get it done so that we can get it to the board in 2 weeks type
So-
idea.
So there's oftentimes savings if you have people that are familiar with our system, particularly in the instance of heating and cooling. Those are people that have worked on our system frequently. So that familiarity automatically sort of prompts them to provide a better price. But I do think placing it on the website allows for more companies to be able to see it, but then also accommodates and write the specs in such a way that it accommodates what Brett is referring to, which is, hey, there's more than,
I guess what I'm trying to
there's
say.
more ways to do things, basically.
Right, but
So-
what I'm trying to say is with the HVAC example, we may not write a spec. We would then say to 2 other specialty companies, this is what we're looking at, what's your,
Then the
because-
specs are vague, and it can go on the website, so.
We don't have a time frame.
But
for it.
recognize that each one of these companies has to see the system, which means a staff person now can't work on something else because they're showing 8 or 9 different companies a system. So that's where there's a balance. I like the website, and I think in most cases, when it's something like you're getting a product like paper, totally. I'm saying there's some things that are more like an emergency, our timing is important, we gotta be able to have some flexibility. Not a lot of flexibility, but some flexibility to let your departments be able to get the 3, because the goal is to have competitive prices, but not to slow us down so that we don't have heat in the building.
So we have a motion in support, but we also threw out another concept to that. So as a friendly, I would offer it. I think the 2 of you would have to accept it.
Hey, so
That would.
When
adding-
practical.
Adding that language to post the bid or quote, or actually the description of
Where practical.
where practical.
And we can say, when we bring it to the board, we can say it didn't go on because it wasn't practical. That way you know. We're not trying to hide it, we're trying to be transparent.
I just don't want anyone coming back accusing us of playing favorites with
Yeah, they weren't available. No,
contractors or whatever. I think that's,
Well, that's why we have these policies in place so that
Yeah.
we can fall back on that. I think
I think
this
if
covers
we-
that.
Whatever, on the website, if we had our stated goal, we're accepting quotes for this thing, interested parties need to contact this person by
Right.
this date. Would that suffice, right? And
For the weird ones, yeah.
yeah, because I think this, one of the benefits of doing this is timeliness too, is because it
Right.
really slows everything down when you're, okay, write all these very detailed specs when it's pretty easy to call somebody out here, I'll show you what we were trying to do, right? And it's sometimes that's hard to articulate on BidNet, and it's, you know, when you call the local guy, you can look at it and toss around ideas, that
Yeah.
thing helps, right?
Okay. So we have a motion to forward this with our recommendation for approval to the board. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
And so that'll go to the next board meeting? Is that where we're going to put it? Okay. Public comment? He's good to go. All right. That's a good public comment. All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, Jared.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen.